The next presenting company here, Bizosys, Sridhar. Bizosys in the premium, let's provide that as a free model and then create our own proprietary premium model and then build the services around that. We'd love to get feedback on this model itself, and Sridhar is a great example to get the ball rolling on that discussion.
Good afternoon, everybody. Unlike a lot of the young 20-something, we have spent, Bizosys founders have spent more than 10 years in enterprise. But we have come out and we are really young. We are very early stage. I would say we are a lab company. We don't have a solution really for enterprise. So my purpose of this presentation really would be to hear from you how probably what kind of next steps I could take. I'll share what my journey is quickly so far. I've got a lot of good takeaways in this morning session too. So I think some of the scanned presentation slides may be outdated. I want to skip and I'll get to my solution. I'll come back to this. What we started when we came out was, can we build something for these kind of capabilities, cloud, mobility, big data, and we started, we built a product called Head Search, which Sangeeta just mentioned. It came out of some very obscure reasons that we started building it. We were working with Lucy and things like that, and then we said that's not good enough. And so we just went ahead and built this. We were in a lab mode, and we didn't know what to do with it, so we put it in open source and said, let's see if people can find use for it. We could also, meantime, look for solutions around it. While it has some strengths, some of the what's happened after we put it in open source is just a point to add is that we didn't want to do a product licensing AMC model kind of thing, and we thought, let's see if we can build a thought leadership. This is a very fluid area, emerging technology. The solution or the need around big data remains corporations, enterprises need it. But is this the right technology? Will I make a mark? Will someone else make a mark? Who is going to do what? We're not sure. So we just put it out there, and we're still in the mode of figuring out. But in the meanwhile, after putting it out, there have been people downloading it across the globe and using it. We've not tracked much of it, unfortunately. There's one company, which is what I'm referring to here, came back to us saying, look, we have this huge clinical database. We want to get a single unified view across all this and serve our researchers better. And we are working with Lucene and things like that. It's not as Solar, they're not helping. So we want to try yours. So we are doing some kind of consulting plus development on top of this, in a way like a lot of the other open source, like MongoDB, these kind of companies do. So where they have built a good community, and we have not yet got there. So we're trying to solve problems like this. We have given them some benefits. This is one side of it, that is big, large workloads and things like that. We also have been solving another side, which is things like real-time access to data, updates, things like that. This is a mobile content provider. They send a lot of SMSs, and they keep on updating their index with new documents and things like that. So we have a single index which allows you to update. It's the same index on which the updates happen, the reads and writes happen. So it's much, much faster. So these are some of the case studies. The other thing we've been trying to do in the lab mode is trying to figure out what is this, how do you deal with big data? How do you even test big data? How do you even generate sample big data? And what is big data? How do you frame the business case for big data? We're trying to think about it. And so we're saying, when you bring so much of structured, unstructured data together, how do we even transform it? So what we said is, while I have this brute force engine, I will get all this in results. I'm going to dynamically cluster it on the fly, extract patterns, discover dynamic taxonomy around it, transform some of the information. Suppose it's tabular information, data, you show it as a pie chart or a bar chart. And lastly, if there is some kind of, in the unstructured data, how do I link unstructured with the structured for more value? For example, a bunch of emails came and there is a word, Bill Daly, which occurs in it. And I recognize that Bill Daly is an entity, a customer of yours. So then I link it dynamically to the CRM. So if the user has access to it, they click it and they go into that system. So we're trying to do these kind of experiments. The other experiment we're trying to do right now is integrating, we're saying, do you need to really start with a search box on a browser to do this kind of a search? Can I integrate it into like a chat window or something? So you actually converse with a chat program which does a real-time, gives you back some kind of response and things like that. So we are currently in a very tech point solution kind of a mode, and we've been more sharing and talking about it at various forums as Hadoop experts and doing that kind of work. But I think we are at a point where it's a crossroad where we have to figure out how do we want to move and grow. And so what we are, I would like as specific feedback or suggestions from you all is, should I be as vertical focused? We are exploring right now financial risk modeling and to an extent in the media space, how we could do certain things post SEO or post that, where can I generate a landing page on the fly. There are certain kind of concepts we are trying to explore where I bury my technology deeper, create a solution around it. So we are in that kind of a mode trying to see, should we do that way and then pitch it. So we are at a very early stage in that sense. So the road is ahead. So I look for feedback on.
Well, I think just like the first speaker, it's hard to figure out what your focus is, and that's what you're saying. What is my focus? I can't tell if you're a product seller or a solution seller or a service seller. I'm confused.
Yeah, we are still experimenting and trying to figure out process. We need to get that focus. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, it's the same thing I was trying to figure out. Are you based on Hadoop? And what you're trying to do is based on whatever is generated in Hadoop, your edge search will help you find things. I'm just trying to identify what is it that you're selling so that I can at least sort of help you and guide you after that. Is there some value proposition? Again, if I go to the earlier slide, yeah, you obviously came out with some analytical data based on speed of access to information.
True.
And now, is it just speed that you're going to deal with, or you sort of extend it and said, I'm going to, not just speed, I'm going to find patterns and I'm going to give you some more intelligent information. I'm not just going to give you data coming back, but I'm also going to extend it and give you analytical aspects coming out. And if you get into that analytical aspects, then you have to focus on industry and say, where is it that you can build that knowledge base and go from there? So whether it's investment side or anything, why did the market tank? Well, what happened in the market? What other data came in? And how do I link it and say last 15 times it tanked, this is what the other news was in the public market, whatever the case might be.
Yeah, I would say in the big data space there are opportunities everywhere.
Sure.
Both for horizontal products and vertical products. And if you look at how Hadoop is being at least used right now, a lot of it is sort of big batch processing of big data. Now, clearly, enterprises want as much real-time or near real-time feedback as possible. And if you can do that, that maybe as such doesn't give you the exact answer, but gives you an approximate answer, but in near real-time, that is a value, clearly a value. When you talk about search, I mean, that's a pretty hard thing to do on big data. And ideally, I guess search people assume means you're looking for results in real-time or near real-time. Ask a question, I get an answer. If it takes me a day to get an answer, then it's really, well, maybe it's search, but it's really more sort of a batch processing of big data for specific information. And I guess it really depends on what you're trying to do and what different industries have different needs in terms of what kind of results they are looking for, when they are looking for it. Clearly, one of the biggest areas in big data is trying to get approximate results in near real time. You know, well, of course, near real time could mean seconds, could mean minutes, depending on who you are talking about, what industry you are looking at. And but building technologies like edge search you are doing, it can be very, very valuable. I would think it'd be very valuable. You know, to some extent, MapReduce does some of that and try to assimilate data into kind of a simpler to understand form. One thing I would say is that the promise of looking at general unstructured data in a Hadoop environment and getting intelligence out of it is probably still a couple of years away. Okay. And I think even if you can look at semi-structured data, maybe define your problem more narrowly, look at semi-structured data, be able to do search on it, get specific results, that has huge value, even if you're not looking at totally unstructured data. Unstructured data is very, very hard to deal with. I mean, you have to start understanding context and what's going on and stuff like that. So I think it's a very, very open area, very promising area, but I would sort of narrow down the problem I'm addressing.
Just to share an experience on this point is why we've not been able to move really clear, focused way forward is we found that everybody is trying to, while they talk about the volume, velocity, variety, they're all experimenting. And so we're just trying to work along on that and saying, okay, what's going to emerge? So probably we're sitting on the sidelines and maybe, like Greg pointed out, we should be picking up something and doing something.
I think you need to make a commitment to do something more specific, because if you look at all the products that are out there, they're really mostly looking at time series, semi-structured data, let's call it. So I think you need to make a commitment. I think the opportunities are quite large. If you just look at one industry and say, I'm looking at a certain kind of, semi-structured, unstructured data, that is a big enough problem to solve for a lifetime, perhaps.
No, that's good feedback from.
Two comments. One is, I hope you have patented it.
We have applied for my product itself. The search engine is open source. Inside it, there are certain parts of it which are we have patented in a defensive
Actually, you can also patent ideas in open source. I'm on the board of Red Hat. You can still patent that. Okay. You can't really, sort of enforce them on your open source product, but you can still patent stuff.
We did apply for some patents, like I said, more from a defensive strategy so that we get the priority date on when we did what we did. Certain core pieces, not the overall engine itself, but there are certain core pieces which help us in the real time.
Right. And the second point is, I completely agree with Naren that ultimately business is about monetization.
True.
So you can't be always waiting on the sides, watching the world go by. Somewhere you'll have to take a position, dip your feet in the water, see how strong the currents are, and it is, it's really a fast-flowing current, and it's nobody knows what is going to happen, right? But it is important, therefore, to be first there. And you are a bunch of intelligent people. You already have a head start with respect to the core technology. But ultimately, people are more interested in whether it's a Ferrari or a Mercedes. Nobody bothers what is the engine inside, right? Do you know who has made that engine? Nobody knows the engine, right? So it's important for you to put your flag there and say that I have a solution for the telecom business or for the financial services or for the insurance business, and the particular problem of churn or whatever, or campaign management or brand analytics, whatever it does, and you because that will give you the monetization aspect. A business model will come out while the back office continues to improve on your the machinery actually.
So, thank you very much. Thanks.
Sridhar, wonderful to have a new model kind of thought about, talked about, and get feedback on. Very interesting, I'm sure, for the members of the audience here as well.